kill the dollar or kill the economy, one or the other. And they've made it very clear which one they're going to fight for. We are basically at halfway point right now through the inflation and the interest rate hikes. Man, we are going to see some fireworks in 2023. It probably is going to be worse than 2022. Now, we're going to dig into a little bit more of that information, and we're going to be using this screen behind us. I had a couple of things I wanted to show you. This is what I want you to pay attention to when it comes to the economy. Number one, we have a massive lag that is happening. Now, what is a lag? Really, the lag means that we are not seeing the full effects of that interest rate hike. So just imagine this for a second. The war started in March, April last year, and gas prices went up, right? Right away, we're choking supply, less gas for everybody. The prices went up immediately for gas. But how long did it take for it to show up in products, for products to go up? It takes time for anything made of plastic to be made. So they're paying a higher price to get brought in. They have to process it to make their product before it gets on the shelf. So gas, the price goes up really quickly. Products take a while longer for that rate to go up. We've had rates that went up 7 times so far, 7 times. And we're expecting to see rates go up another 3 times this year based on what the central banks of the world are telling us. The United States Fed, they call it the Fed, but they also have the Central Bank of Canada or Australia or the ECB over in Europe. Now, these guys, they basically have 2 things that they have to watch out for. Number one, keep inflation low. They want stable money. Okay, they want a loaf of bread to cost $1 today and $1.02 next year, $1.04 the year after. They only want it to go up 2% per year. Okay, so they want to keep inflation low, and their second mandate is keep employment high, meaning unemployment low. They want everybody working and they want stable money. And this is the problem, is because the two of them don't really go together. In order to combat inflation, they have to raise the interest rates to the moon like they've done already. Now, this is going to eventually crush inflation. They're doing that because they don't have a button to magically print a lot of homes. They don't have a button to create a lot of almonds or wheat, but they can instantly raise interest rates and make the cost of salary be so expensive that no one can afford it. So they're raising those rates, which makes it hard for every single person that has a payment to make those payments. Anyone who has a credit card, it's harder. Anyone who has gas, it's harder to pay. And every company is in trouble as well, as they're sucking money out of the system, right? It's kind of like a leech sitting on somebody who's just sucking the blood out of them. They have to do that by keeping inflation low. Okay. But what's the second part of that? The second part is employment high. So as you're making it hard on people to be able to pay their bills, the companies are having a hard time and they're going to have to lay off employees. We're seeing all kinds of company. Doesn't matter if it's in banking, Goldman Sachs, doesn't matter if it's Amazon. They're laying off tens of thousands of workers. And listen, we're expecting hundreds of thousands going to be laid off this year. They actually are working against each other. So the Fed has a terrible choice. This is Central Bank of Canada, European Union, doesn't matter. They are saying that they are going to save the dollar, meaning keeping inflation low, but they're going to have high unemployment. So employment has got to go down. And they're saying that over and over again in all their meetings, that unemployment is stubbornly high. So they're worried that employment is too high and everyone's going to ask for raises. They want more people out of a job, but they can't say that. They can just say employment is very high. And that's their problem. Unbelievable. So our favorite subject is housing. Now, housing here is 40% of the inflation measurement because housing is a lot for us, right? The majority of people need housing, they need food, they need to put their kids through school, but housing is a huge, huge chunk of that. And so the interest rates are going to affect anybody with the most debt. And the biggest purchase that people normally buy in their lives are homes. So this is where we're going to see it the most. But this comes back to the main thing, the lag. The lag is 12 to 18 months. 12 to 18 months. So if we've only had the interest rates now for 9 months or something, we're at halftime, okay? We're halfway through this lag. And so let me show you a couple of things of what the governments are doing right now. I think it's really important. This is just showing you Canada. This is our interest rate hikes that is going on right now. You can see the interest rate has gone parabolic in the past couple months. But if we look back over many, many years since, the 90s, it's been a general trend downward, but man, it has gone crazy. This is like a record of what they've done, raising it 7 times in a month. Well, what has the United States done? If we go back many, many years, this is back to the 70s, you can see this is an extremely sharp upturn. We haven't seen something like that since back in the 70s when they raised rates that sharply, but still historically very low. So that's the interest rates. But what about money printing? If we go back to the United States all the way to the 60s, we see it's like a ramp. And then when 2020 came around, it just went parabolic. So this little tiny dip that you're seeing here at the end is what's happened just recently with their money supply in the past couple months. And this is what all the pain that we're feeling. Let's move on to Canada. Canada is the exact same way. All the governments of the world, I say, are on the same WhatsApp group. They are continuing to print money, more and more money. Now we're seeing this massive effect in Canada, and that's just because they're slowing down how much they're printing. So you're not even going down, they're just leveling off. Unbelievable. This is why I think you have to take everything with a grain of salt. If the main thing is housing, which is going to be the number one category to have massive defaults. Why? It's because it has the largest debt attached to it, the most susceptible to higher rates. This is what we have to always remember is we have a bad choice, Sophie's choice. Okay. They have to kill the dollar or kill the economy, one or the other. And they've made it very clear which one they're going to fight for. And it's the dollar. And employment is stubbornly high. So you might lose your job. Your neighbors might lose your job. So this is why we have to increase the skills that we have every single day. Let's take a look. I have one more thing I wanted to show you. Look at this. This is the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Party Central. I love it. Okay. But this is where we're at today because you guys, this is where we have to make sure that we're paying attention. We should not be buying anything right now unless it is a little bit insurance. What do I always say for insurance? A little bit of gold, a little bit of silver. We have to have a little bit of Bitcoin or something like that. We have to get some things, money outside of the system. That's what we need. Now, the economy is all directed by this little Fed. Now, one guy, Jerome Powell, most powerful financial guy in the United States, probably in Canada. So let's take a look at my next picture that I have for you guys. If we look at this cruise ship, now, in this article, they're showing you on a cruise, this is the back, the propulsion in the back, which is the economy. And then we have this rudder, which is the Federal Reserve telling us which direction that we're going to be going in. That's it. So if you want to scooch back and go back down to the size of the boat, look at the size of the economy, this massive city here, huge weight, and it's all being directed by these few little rudders in the back. And once they turn that rudder once, it takes a long time for that boat to turn, a very, very long time. And that's the difference. This massive boat and the Federal Reserve is in the back just directing where they want to go. They tweak those interest rates and it takes a long time for that boat to turn around. But don't be fooled. This is a centrally planned economy. And whenever you have centrally planned economies, everything matters based on what is the Fed going to do. So remember, right now, we are in this lag, 12 to 18 months always, because everyone has a different amount of savings in the bank. Some people have 3 months, some people have 6 months, a year, whatever it is. There's savings going, I don't care if something happens, I lose my job, I have some savings. But nobody has 5 years of savings saved up. As people are running out of savings, it's been 9 months so far, as inflation is hurting them and the cost of things are going up, their mortgages are going up, people will start to run out of savings. And if the Fed gets their way and the central banks get their way and have higher unemployment, then they can push through some more policies that maybe you wouldn't when everybody was more happy with the economy. So pay attention, you guys. Always try to stand up for yourself. Make sure that you're pushing back against the big guys. Make sure that you have an exit plan. Make sure that you're safe. We are only halfway through what is coming, you guys. I'm there for you. Remember, the next 2 years of your life will dictate the next 20 years. And if you know anybody that this can help, please send it their way. We really, really appreciate it. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for sticking around. If you like that video, you might like this one and maybe something like that.